In this episode, I have two CGC unboxings to do. The first just arrived, while the other one is coming in tomorrow. But I can't wait to open up both of these at the same time. So let's open up the first one and see how I did. Welcome back, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and I have got two CGC unboxings to do for you today. But at the beginning of the filming right now, I only have one of these in. The other one will be coming in tomorrow, but I can't wait till tomorrow to open up both of these together. So what I'm going to do is we're going to open up this first one to see how I did, and then tomorrow I'll open up that one and we'll do one big episode where I'll put all of this together. So at the end I will do a wrap up of both books that I got signed. And the only clue I'm going to give you is that I'm wearing the shirt of the character that I've got for both books that I've got here. But this book right here is a mega key for Spider-Man, and I can't wait to see how I did. So let's find the knife, and I'll open this box up. But before I do that, definitely hit that like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any of the content that I put out each and every week, Mondays and Fridays at 3 p.m., which is a change, guys. I'm changing the show to 3 p.m. because my work schedule is going to change and I will not be able to do a 10 a.m. show anymore for the most part. We'll see if it changes in the future, but I'm going to change it to 3 p.m. for the time being, and we'll see how that does. So stay tuned. Let me find the knife and we'll open up this box. All right, guys, I found the knife. And I've got the box right here. Let's open this thing up. And again, I talk about this in every episode where I've only got one or maybe two books coming back in. They send the books back from CGC in these literature style boxes. I love these things. These are really sturdy. And I love using these when I sell a CGC slab myself, especially to places overseas where it's going to get handled a lot more and it takes a lot longer to get there. And I want as much security as I can. So I love these boxes. Plus, they're pretty easy to cut open without a lot of fuss. So we're going to open this up. And as I was saying, this is a mega Spider-Man key. This is a book that I had on my PC for many years. And when I first started getting books graded by CGC, before I did my own cleaning and pressing, I sent in my personal copy of this, and I ended up with a 9.6. I thought that was fantastic. And I ended up selling that not that long after that to help pay for the hobby, as you say, because as much as I like this key, it wasn't one of my favorite books. And that might be strange because this is a very popular book. And I did pretty well on that. I think the market's come down a lot since then. But in the meantime, I have this habit of when I sell something, I kind of want to get it back in my PC. And last fall, in fact, it was right before New Year's, I ended up buying this book from one of my local comic book shops who were having a big sale. And luckily, they had these books on sale as well. A lot of times they'll do a sale, but they won't put any of the books that they have just recently priced. And they put their dates on their price stickers so you know when that, I guess, that price is good for. And they'll exclude anything that was marked with the latest month, for example. So that's a lot of their sales are like that. But that sale right before New Year's, this book right here was not included. It was included in that. In fact, every book in the store was included on this. It was a 40% off discount, which isn't the best discount that they've had. But when I saw the book and I thought it was in really good shape, not perfect, but in really good shape, I went ahead and spent the money on it. But kind of happy to have it back in the PC. We'll see how it does. I'm very nervous because, like I said, it's not perfect. And I've had a couple books in a couple of the recent CGC unboxings over the last few episodes where I thought they were better. That Batman Adventures number 12 I thought was better than the grade that I got. And I missed some stuff on there. And it was very faint, but it was there. The faults were there. And there's nothing I could do about it. Except the grade, I suppose. And I'm always worried in these cases, especially when it's not a book that's near perfect to begin with. There's definitely a flaw. What's that grade going to be? what kind of grader am I going to get? Is he going to be harsh or is he going to be forgiving? Well, we'll find out real quick here. Now, here it is wrapped up in the bubble wrap. 2 pieces of cardboard with the protective rubber band. And we'll get rid of the rubber band. And I'm going to look down. I have not seen the grade. I have resisted the urge to look ahead to see what this is, to see what the grade is. I know what the book is. So let's see if I can... Okay, I've got it. Got the book backwards so I can't see it. Let's take the bag off. Let's take the invoice off right there. And I'll tell you something. I ended up sending this in. It is a high-value book. And even at a lower grade, it will still go over that high-value $400 price tag most likely, unless I just completely miss something and it tanks completely. It still should hold its value for the most part. At least that's what I'm thinking. I just hope it doesn't drop down too far. But that's what I said about the Batman Adventures, and it dropped down 2 grades lower than what I expected, and that was kind of devastating. I was not happy with that. But we'll see how we did. I did splurge for the label since I only sent this one book in on this high value. And, oh, look, it's a Spider-Man 300, the first full appearance of Venom. And let's, as you can see, I did the Venom label on this one. I didn't do the Spider-Man. I did the Venom label on that. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. I'm kind of getting into the custom labels. I resisted that for the longest time because part of it was back 2 years ago, I was doing these 25 book orders. And if I wasn't getting the label on every one of them, it was going to split the orders in 2. So I was saving money, I suppose, on every order by not doing that. And 25 books, $5 a piece, that adds up. And I was doing a lot of orders. So I kind of resisted the urge, and now I kind of miss getting some of my older books that I was getting graded 2 years ago, even last year, with the custom labels. But I did add it to this, and we've got Spider-Man 300 here. It is a direct version. And before I go on, the comic book shop that I picked this up at was the Collector's Corner up in Parkville, Maryland. And a great little shop. You can always go. I always run in there and try to find some good things. It is a very eclectic type of collection of books, as well as a ton of toys, both new and vintage. Just a great little shop. I love going up there. But they had this book. They actually had 4 of these, and I don't think this was, had one that was a little bit more expensive. I didn't think it was quite really any better, but I know it had a tick on the back, and that back, of course, has a black cover. So you could see that one tick, but the front looked really good. So keep my fingers crossed here, guys. Let's see how I did. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, I was hoping for a 9.6, to be honest with you, but a 9.4 on this is still really good. And I haven't looked up the values on that. I think what I'll do is I will look up some values, and I'll put it on the screen here so you guys know what the 9.4s are currently going for. And I think I did pretty good on this. Because the way I figured it was anything over a 9.0, a 9.0 would have put me at that almost break even cost of the book plus cost of the grading. It would have been almost a break even at that point, maybe a little bit in the negative. But 9.4 is really good on this, and I may have to hold on to this in the PC for a little bit, but I may end up selling this too. I don't know yet. But so if you guys are definitely interested in this, you got to reach out to me. I would always be accepting of any offers, at least listening to any offers on something like this. But it's not bad. Let's take a look at it real quick. Yeah, that's not bad. I will tell you, the front looks fantastic. This spine looks really, really super. There's no dog ears. There's maybe a very slight blunt of the corner. I mean, very slight down here at the corner. There's that, right there is that one little crease. I'll tell you something. This is better than I remember. Be interesting if I could actually get some grader's notes on this. But that at 9.4 is very acceptable. I still think it could stretch out and get a 9.6 though. So I'll have to look at that. That'd be one of those things where I may have to take a second look at it, as I do in a lot of these cases where I think it could have been a little bit better. I'll have to take a closer look at this and see if possibly I could take another shot of this by cracking it open. I don't know, but my inclination is this is a really good grade, even though I do still think it could have gotten a 9.6. But so there's the first book of these two. What I'm going to do now is we will cut over to tomorrow's filming. It will just go, for you guys, it will be in an instant. For me, it'll be in another day. But I'll come back and we will do the second Spider-Man unboxing for this episode. And I hope you guys will like that as well. So stay tuned for a few moments and I'll be right back.
Many unbearable hours later.
All right, guys, I'm back. It was just a few moments for you, and what should have been just one day later while I'm filming this turns out to be, guys, we are 3 days after the fact right now, and I should have been filming this back-to-back days because that's when these CGC boxes were supposed to be in. You saw the Spider-Man 300, I got that in, and then the following day, I was going to pick up and film this right now, film this unboxing, and I got notification from FedEx that they dropped off the box after I'd went to work. My wife comes home and she was home all afternoon into the evening. In fact, they said that they dropped it off. FedEx dropped it off and got me to sign a release for it somewhere like 6:30 in the evening. And my wife was here the whole time. Nobody knocked on the door. There's nothing outside. No sign of anything. And for 3 days now, this is 3 days later after that unboxing of Spider-Man 300, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where. I wasn't getting any response other than they've opened an investigation to try to find it. Well, I don't know. I didn't think I was going to get this book back, basically, guys. And luckily, this is not the biggest book of all the CGC orders I've got in right now. But still, it's a good book. This is a nice project piece. And it's a good example of some of the new stuff that CGC is offering. So I wanted to show it off, but it went missing. And right before I went to work, this was, like I said, 3 days later now. In fact, I'm filming this right after work, after the day that this came in. Well, it turns out, I think it went to one of my neighbors somewhere in the community here. This has happened. This is the second time now FedEx has done this. I think they dropped it off at another 9342 address in this area. And all I got to say is thank God the neighbors were honest enough to drive over on this Saturday now to drop off this box. In fact, my security cameras picked up some motion out here right before I went to work, and I saw a young lady come up and put something in our little storage box that we keep on the porch for packages. She put something in there, and I went out immediately, and there it is. This is what was missing from FedEx. FedEx never delivered this to me. And before they got a chance to drive away, I yelled down to them and I said, thank you. They didn't want to stay or anything. They just said, oh, you're welcome, and just left. But thank them for being honest enough to bring it in. And I got the box. I got the book, and I had to open it immediately because I wanted to make sure everything was okay. And what I did notice, I think they did open it to see what was in here, because this is one of those literature-style boxes I'm so fond of. It was already open. So I opened it up and to make sure that the book that I thought it was in here and everything's okay. And long story short is that it is okay. The book is fine. And we're going to finish the rest of the story. We'll do the unboxing now. So let's open this up and I'll show you what this is. Now, I've had this book for a couple years now, and I started on this. I got it signed down at HeroesCon 2 years ago when John Romita Jr. was there. And the book right here, I'll show it to you, had just really come out not that long before. And I wanted to get him and Scott Hanna to sign the book because they're working on this book, right? I'll show it to you. You probably know what I'm talking about. And it was actually my first at a convention getting an artist to sign and then having it witnessed for CGC and submitting to get this book. I guess it was witnessed, and then, of course, it was graded. Well, it was also a mistake book. But let me just show you the book, and we'll go over it, and I'll tell you the whole story. Here it is. It is the current run of The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 1, and I'll show it because I didn't like the signatures necessarily, but they are on here. Down at the bottom, you can see Scott Hanna, okay, but it's going to be really hard to pick up. You can see my fingers right there. It's really hard to see. You've got the Jr., JR Jr., John Romita Jr. short signature right there. And I think it was, I can't remember if it was Alpha Omega or one of the other companies down there. I think it was Alpha Omega that was facilitating them and facilitating the signing at HeroesCon 2 years ago when John Romita Jr. was there. And I wanted to go through this experience. Let's get this book signed. And I just wanted it for my PC. I thought it was pretty cool. New book coming out. John Romita Jr. is back at Marvel at this point and back on Spider-Man. And his longtime inker, Scott Hanna, is there as well. So the witness went up to the table with me, witness John Romita Sr. or Jr. And then we went right around the corner. Scott Hanna was right there, and we got him to sign it as well. And they witnessed that. So we went to the table, and yes, it definitely was Alpha Omega. I filled out the form, and it was the very first time I'd ever filled out one of these forms. And I put down what the book was, and it was signed by John Romita Jr. I completely forgot to put down Scott Hanna at that point, but I also forgot, Alpha Omega forgot when they were reviewing it. I mean, we literally, 1 minute earlier, we were just at Scott Hanna's table. They forgot that they did that too. They didn't pick up on my mistake. So partial blame, I think, is Alpha Omega. Ultimate blame is on me for not realizing it. But it was my very first time. And it was only weeks later, right before I got this back, I got notified? Is that a word? I made up a word, guys. Notified that this was coming back to me. And it sort of clicked at that point. I said, hey, I don't remember putting both names on this. I think I messed this up. I bet you I'm going to get a partial green label on this. And sure enough, I opened it up and I got my nice yellow label with the green qualified up here. And it said, witnessed, signature, John Romita Sr. Excuse me, I did that again. Jr. And autograph. Another signature on there. They couldn't verify that this was Scott Hanna. It was just another signature. I still got my 9.8, but it was a green label, but yellow, but with the green. And I'm like, crap, I really messed this up. And I held on to it for a long time, and I figured at some point I was going to take this book and send it into CBCS because they authenticate autographs because they work with Beckett, right? Well, I just held on to it. This book, like a lot of other things, the values just dropped. It was a project piece for me, and I was just going to do a video at some point, sending this into CBCS and tell the whole story and get this actually regraded by them and both signatures authenticated. Well, I held on to it for so long that finally we've got the news that JSA and CGC were teaming up, and I got a chance when I was sending in some other orders. I decided to go ahead and send this book in and do my very first book with the JSA authentication on here. So as you can see, we got the yellow label. Still kept my 9.8. I love that part. Here's the JSA CGC label here at the top. Yellow label, no more qualified anything. And it does say, signed by John Romita Jr. on June 24th, 2022, Scott Hanna authenticated autograph. And that's what I want. Right here, I finally got the collectible that I want on this. And I got to experience the new JSA label. I couldn't be happier to get this back, other than the fact that it took FedEx completely dropped the ball on this. I'm calling you out, FedEx. That was bad stuff, and I'm probably going to still contact you and really complain, because the drivers recently that have been dropping off CGC boxes at my house are not getting the signatures that I need to prove that I'm actually getting the books that I'm getting. So regardless, we got the book back. Thank God. Again, thank you to my neighbors who brought this back over. I'm assuming neighbors, but thank goodness we got this book back. We got our story. I got my collectible here. Now, this book, I didn't even look up the value in this. This is not, even though I insured her for about $300, I don't think this book, even with the 2 signatures now, are at this point, I don't think it's a $300 book. It's still a nice book, and I think it's a nice collectible and everything. But I think for me, having the story here is the main thing, and I really enjoyed doing this and getting this book back and being able to share this with you guys. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed both parts of the unboxing during this video today, or over the last couple days, I should say. Definitely leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know about what you think about both Spider-Man books, and what do you think about my experience with this book as well. If you've had similar experiences with CGC at this point, getting a book authenticated with JSA, you got to let me know. Just leave me a comment in the comment section below. And that's about it for today, guys. I'm losing my voice again. I'm really happy about everything. So I'm going to get out of here. But before I go, definitely make sure you hit that like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you guys won't miss out on any of the episodes that I put out each and every week, Mondays and Fridays. Formerly at 10 a.m., but now I'm planning on doing my shows at 3 p.m., mostly because of a work schedule change. So look for my shows at 3 p.m. We will still try to do the live chats, though. So I hope you join me for the live chat for any of the shows that I put out. So thanks, guys. Enough of the sales pitch. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day, and remember, every comic has a story.